keep cooking. I'll be right back. I'm going over to Brent Daniels for a little bit.
Oh, right on.
See what they got cooking up over there. Game time, baby. Game time. Where's TTP? Let's go see what's shaking. Put this down. Good morning. Good morning.
What's up?
Hey, what's up, fellas?
You looking for Brent?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hi.
How you doing, man?
Yeah. Good morning. Hi. Look. Come on.
What's up, brother? How you doing? Nice to meet you.
This way, guys. He's just in there.
All right, let me grab my stuff.
There you go.
Yeah. What's up, fellas?
Hey, there he is.
What's going on? Good to see you,
Great
bro.
to see you. Welcome.
huh?
Come on in.
Good to see you, bro.
This is Luke.
Hey, what's
Luke,
up, bro?
Carlos.
How you
What's
doing?
up, guys?
I do social media.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
This is
Yeah.
Matt. Matt's produces the
Matt,
show.
how you doing, brother?
Good. Good to
Nice
see
to
you.
meet you, man.
So,
It's good stuff.
yeah, we'll just go live.
Yeah.
through
That should be
StreamYard,
fun, man.
And I'm gonna just pick your brain. I'm gonna just
Let's
squeeze
do it.
out. Obviously, it being live, we're gonna have a bunch of questions, which is gonna be dope.
I've been looking forward to it, bro.
Yeah.
No, it's
How
gonna
you
be fun.
been?
Great, man. Just it's been a great journey these past 3 years, bro.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Brent Daniels Real Estate Live Show. We have an unbelievable, this isn't even a show today. I'm not even going to call it a show today. I'm going to call this a full-blown course. And I have the master of nationwide wholesaling, Carlos Reyes, here with us. Carlos, how are
Bring
you?
it in. It's been a while. Bring it in.
It's been too long.
Right?
Yep.
It's been too long, man. Thank you, by the way, brother. I was excited, man, to reconnect with you.
Yep.
So excited. I feel like, a lot of us have had so much happen over the past couple years that, everybody just got occupied doing their own thing,
Yeah.
right? And, man.
Well, especially considering you own like 15
It-
businesses.
that got a little crazy. And I was just telling my camera guy on the way over here. He was like, "So who's Brent Daniels?"
Yeah.
I said, "Brother, he's an OG.
Yeah.
He's an OG. He's a pioneer, and it's someone that I have a lot of respect for, and I'm excited to reconnect with him. So, thank you for the invite, bro.
Yeah,
Appreciate
absolutely.
You.
So just to lay the foundation here, you started real estate in what year?
So 2013 is when we started,
Nice.
but 2014 is when we got going.
And you're talking bandit signs
Yep.
in the trunk, going out in the middle of the night,
Yep.
knocking down, we buy houses, that type of.
That year was 2014.
Yeah.
I had a regular job still, and
What were you doing?
I was actually helping out a guy. He was in the small lending space. It's called CM Retail Management, and it was a guy that, when I started with him, his company was doing around $8 million. I started with him around 2002.
Mm-hmm.
His company was doing about $8 million a year. By the time I left that company, I was one of the executive leaders there, and we were already at like $48 million a year.
Yeah.
So there was a huge growth year over year.
Mm-hmm.
And man, here's the thing about people like us, right? When we feel we're growth junkies, it's not so much about the money.
Sure.
I felt like I had hit a ceiling there.
Well, it's about winning.
It's about winning. It's about learning. It's about developing.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like at my job, and a lot of people that are watching or listening that probably still have a job, they probably feel the same way that I was feeling at that time, which I was like, man, I'm not growing anymore. I'm not growing anymore. They're offering me a new position. They're offering more money, but it's not going to make me happy because I feel like I've hit a ceiling and I feel stagnant.
Yep.
There has to be more, right? And that's when I came across a $10 book called Flip by Nick Reyes, right? So
Yeah.
I always, my entire life, I wanted to be in real estate, my entire life. And unfortunately, right, when I was going to this, it was called Westford College out in Peoria, Arizona. I was going over there around 07 to get my license because I didn't know any better, right? I'm just gonna go get a real estate license and do real estate, right? Because that's what I thought it was.
I did.
Okay, there you go, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to this school, Westford College. I'm trying to get my real estate license, and then boom, you know what happened in 08, right?
Boom.
It's like everybody
whole
ran for the
world
hills,
melted,
right?
yeah.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, well, there's that. So I was like, okay, whatever. Then I went back to just focusing on the corporate America thing. And then you know, in 2013, like I said, I'm like, man, you know, I feel stuck again. I always wanted to do real estate. There has to be a better way, right? That's when I read this book, $10 book called Flip by Nick Reyes. And this book is saying, hey, you can become a successful real estate investor. Actually, he doesn't even say that. He says you can become a successful real estate entrepreneur, right? An entrepreneur, and you don't need money, and you don't need credit, and you don't even need a license, right? That's literally in the beginning of the book. And I'm like, okay, so I qualify. I check off all those boxes, right? And then I start reading, and brother, when I tell you that I became so obsessed with the dream of becoming successful in this business because of this book, right? Because of what I was reading in this book, when it told me, it said, hey, you got to go and put out 100 bandit signs this Friday because the city workers won't see it till next week. Right. So
yeah, they're
I'm
not
like,
working in the week.
I didn't have a lot of marketing dollars, right? So I started, you know, buying blank canvases, right? Blank signs. And then I started buying the wood forks. And then my wife had to handwrite these signs on Wednesdays. And then Friday at 11 p.m., I would take her 2008 Nissan Rogue, put all the signs. I got a picture everywhere of that. I put the signs in there.
Tank top and everything.
That's right. I put the signs. I got the gloves, you know, because, you know, first of all, it's wood and it's hard soil, etc. And I started doing that. That's how I got my first ever real estate wholesale deal, by the grace of God, because as you know, getting deals through bandit signs in Phoenix, Arizona, even back then, it wasn't very easy, you know? So God was looking out for me. I get this phone call from a landlord that was just tired of being a landlord. She had this rental in West Phoenix, and she's just like, hey, renters are about to move out next month. What can you offer me for the property, right? And I go over there, and I don't know how to run comparables, right? I don't know how to underwrite the deal. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I don't know how to print out a contract. I don't even know how to read a contract, let alone, you know, meet with this seller and break the contract down and have them sign. I overpaid, right? I messed it completely up, but I still managed to make $5,000 on that one deal. And that was me failing forward, man. And the rest is history. It just reminded me of something that I learned along the way, which is how to transform your belief system, right? So there's faith and there's fact, right? Here's the reality. Here's the fact, right? The belief system that most of us have early on is based off the evidence that's in front of us, right? So can I make $1 million in real estate wholesaling, right? Most of us, the evidence dictates what? No. Right? Because we've never done it.
Right.
So there's no evidence.
Right.
Okay. Now, here's the second part to that, right? Our belief system is not only based off the evidence, but our confidence in that evidence.
Sure.
Most of us are very confident in the evidence that's in front of us that no, we've never made $1 million a year in real estate wholesaling, right? Okay, so how do you transition that? There's only one way, which you called it, right? You're transitioning from faith to fact, which is now presenting new evidence. You go out there, you get it done, you do it, it's in front of you, you prove it to yourself, you prove it to whoever, right? So now there's new evidence, okay? Well, here's where it gets really nice. So now there's new evidence that you can make $1 million in this business. And now what happens to your confidence in that new evidence?
Of course.
See?
Yeah.
So it's what you just said is actually factual, right? A lot of people, you know, their belief system is based off the evidence that they've known all their lives, which is what, you know, I don't know how to make $100,000 a month, or I don't even know how to do $100,000 in a year. That was my evidence for a very long time. Brother, I didn't crack $100,000 a year until I became a wholesaler. Yeah,
Really?
my old corporate job was like, you know, $60,000, $70,000 a year, bro.
So you didn't come from wealth?
No, absolutely not. No, I never cracked like I said, I did not crack $100,000 a year until I got into real estate wholesaling.
How old were you?
I was about 30 years old until I broke $100,000 in a year.
Yeah.
Don't shy away from taking that hard, long road, because here's what I'll tell you. And I know this sounds very cliche, Fast money builds ego, right? Working for that money, slow money, right? Hard-earned money builds character.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I've looked at it, and I've talked to, and I've interviewed over 500 people that have made, earned like real income over $1 million, and the average is 7 years. It takes 7 years in real estate to actually take home, after taxes, after paying your staff, after doing everything, and usually
not
it's
gross
like a few
revenue.
No,
You're talking
no.
about income.
Well, what's the point?
Gross
the whole
income.
point is to take the income
That's
home
right.
to your family.
That's right.
The whole point is to build your assets for your family, right? You know what I mean? It's great building a business with partners. It's great doing this. It's great hiring people and having the financial responsibility in your hand of all of all the people they're responsible for, right?
There's a lot of people in this business that fabricate results and fabricate numbers, and it sounds pretty. Oh, we're projected to make this, and I don't know why. I actually learned my lesson the hard way, right? So watch this. September of 2022. All right. We had 18.
Tough time.
We had 18 flips.
I bet.
We had 18 flips. We lost on 12 of those 18 flips. That means that I had to come and write a check to get rid of that deal, to sell that. I mean, sometimes it was 30, sometimes it was 50, sometimes it was 60.
I remember you posting about it.
It was.
Like, hey, listen, I made everybody whole, but it didn't feel good.
I had private money on one side, right? Specifically Travis Lewick. I don't know if you know him, amazing human being. And I say that out loud because he'll tell you that we paid him back every single penny of the millions of dollars that we always had with them in private money, right? So I had to take care of him on one side because he's always taking care of us for 5+ years. And then I had to go and get rid of these houses on the other side. That was a big blow. And I will tell you this, if it wasn't for the grace of God and our experience at that time, I think most companies, they go out of business.
How do you pick a market outside of your
Okay, here's what I'll tell you.
Or do you just go the whole nation?
No. I've done the whole nation. The first time I did the whole nation was September of 2017, and that was a disaster.
Okay.
Because
Why?
because this is what people don't tell you. There's everybody out there selling you some kind of, national, Google campaign, right? But what they don't tell you is, your cost per lead is going to be very minimal, right? It's 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks, 60 bucks, whatever, cost per lead. But what they don't tell you is that you're going to get properties in the middle of nowhere, where there's 5 people that live there. And it's not marketable. Now you're spending time, you're spending energy, you're spending resources, right? So you're actually sinking in quicksand. Let's just say that the population isn't there, right? But I like to be like, I'll give you an example, like Atlanta, Georgia, right? Atlanta, Georgia. All right, well, there's a bunch of little towns around Atlanta, Georgia, right? And in my opinion, as long as you're about 20 miles or 20 minutes, right? Or 30 minutes away from the next major city, you might want to take a look at it a little closer.
20 miles.
20 miles.
Outside.
That's right, of a major city.
Yeah.
Just in case the population, because it won't be there. It might be 10,000 there, you know what I mean? But it's like, dude, you're a 20-mile drive from Atlanta, so, things are going to be moving there too. You know what I mean, right?
What do we do for lead generation?
So
let's break it down this way.
let's talk about that because not all leads are created equal. Okay? And we're going to get into it. Why do most businesses go out of business?
Well, I mean,
That's a very vague question, right? Okay, but what is one thing that you absolutely need month in, month out coming into your business?
leads.
Well, hold on. We're gonna go from the top and then go all the way down to leads, right? Cash flow.
Yeah, sure.
People run out of cash. That's the only reason why somebody would go out of business.
Sure.
Right? It's cash flow. Okay, so if cash flow is the silent killer of most businesses, well, then what metrics should we be looking at to make sure that we're consistently bringing in cash month in, month out, right? CCC, cash flow conversion cycle.
I love it.
Okay, cash flow conversion cycle. What does that mean? How long does it take? What's the time frame that it takes for me when I put out $1 and it comes back into the business, right? So with that being said, now you start to see not all leads are created equal, right? CPD, cost per deal, it's going to be anywhere from 2 to 4K, okay? So no matter what you're doing, right? Like example, if you're in California, which is a tough market, you see, it's a tough market because it's big paydays, right? Your average wholesale fee out there might be 50 grand versus your average wholesale fee in San Antonio might be 12.
Right.
You know what I mean? So in California, over and over and over, I would say since paying attention to the California market, if you're doing just Google AdWords, PPC out there, right? It's about $5,500 for you to get a contract, for you to get a deal.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So keep your cost per deal, keep that in mind when you're distributing or exercising all these different marketing channels and budgets. You know what I mean? That at the end of the day, everybody's looking at, okay, what's my cost per lead? What's my lead to contract conversion ratio, right? What's my cost per contract? Because just because you get a contract doesn't mean that you actually sell the deal and make money, right? And then it's like, what's my cost per deal, et cetera. Everybody looks at all these different metrics, but at the end of the day, this is the one that's going to determine a lot of your progress right there. Most folks, unfortunately, people that are watching and listening, what are they willing to put on the line to make this dream come true? Like, this is all great, right? And this is very practical. But what people don't tell viewers and listeners and people that are trying to make it in this industry is you need to become the absolute best acquisition person that you can become, or else none of this is going to matter.
Well, that's what we're getting into next.
Okay, yeah.
Which is sales process.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So now we've got a conversion. We've got to be able to convert these leads.
That's right. They get stuck on third base. Right? They get stuck on third base. All right, Brent, I am so excited to do this. When do you want to do it? Oh, Carlos, just call me back Friday. Time kills all deals.
Baby. That's
Right?
it. Yeah.
Call me back Friday.
Yeah.
Let's reconvene on Friday. No. Right? When you go through all this and things are ready to roll, you better be ready to close this thing. You better be ready to run all the way home, right? Well, Brent, why don't we do this? Are you near a computer? Yeah, I'm near a computer. Okay, great. I am going to send over the written offer, not the contract, which is, it sounds like I'm going to jail, binding contract, right? I'm going to send over the written offer. I want to break that down for you just in case you have any questions, right? Can we go through it right now? Or, are you good for that?
Yeah.
Right? Sure, why not, right? So you want to get them to the contract, the written offer, right? You want to get them to the written offer. You want to walk them through and you want to get them to sign.
Yeah.
None of this matters if they do not sign.
Right.
And if they don't sign, someone else might come in and scoop that up.
For sure.
You did all this work, right? You put it on a platter. Somebody came in, offered $1,000, $2,500 more, but they were able to say they were closers.
Yeah.
They were ready to close this thing. They didn't wait around until Friday at lunch or whatever until they came back from vacation. You want to be as gracefully aggressive as possible to get this thing signed.
Yep. Carlos, you're the man. So
Thank you,
great
brother.
to have you on
Yeah.
here. Got to have you on more often, huh? You're back
Anytime.
at it.
Yeah,
You've been
anytime.
screwing around for 3 years.
Yeah.
You've been screwing around. He's back, baby.
I did it the hard way, man. Yep.
That's awesome. Guys, give some love for Carlos in the chat here as we close out. Come on in, guys. We'll say goodbye to everybody. What a great, great, great show we had today. Come on in. Come on in. We'll live a fantastic life. We love you. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Boom. Good stuff, bro.
Great show.
Appreciate you, brother.
How'd it feel?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. You gave me ideas like, dude, I got to start doing some of this stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do
Yeah,
it
I
every
just-
Wednesday?
I do it Wednesday. I like the live
Yeah.
interaction. I like more of, like, in my mind, I'm more like a AM call-in show. You know what I mean? Where you kind of teach them
I love
stuff
that.
and then wait for some
Do
comments.
you
and
send
just
out
do
an
it.
email or notifications to let people know you're good? Just socials?
Socials, Jesse used to.
He used to.
I don't know if he still is.
I don't
He
think
probably
does
should,
that
but
anymore,
he's distracted.
Yeah.
But yeah, just mainly socials.
We got to do this again. It was
Yeah.
great. It was
Yeah.
great, bro.
Yeah.
Thank
it's
you,
awesome.
brother.
I
That
mean,
was
it's
amazing.
you get a
I love
streaming
this.
camera and
I
you
love
get
it.
The teleprompter.
Yeah.
And then you can just go bananas, and you don't have to have the whole thing. You could just do it from
You
your office.
you can do ads off this, huh?
Yeah.
You can do ads. It
Oh,
reads the
yeah. I do all my courses off this. I do the ads. I do anything.
Can you get the motto of all this stuff here, dude?
Yeah,
Right?
I'll do it too.
Yeah.
You probably know what it is. I mean, it's it's just a teleprompter.
It's so cool.
Well,
It's
when you're
huge.
doing live, I just hate when you're looking down, you're reading comments here instead of just looking straight ahead.
See, we need to do that,
Right?
right? Because we got two small communities that would do that for,
Yeah.
and you can tell like I'm trying to look at the Zoom, you know what I mean, and I'm not looking at the camera, you know. So
Yeah.
right here, you're looking straight at the
The
camera, which
hardest
is
part
great.
for people and for me to break was I kept looking at the lower screen.
Oh, instead of the big one.
Yeah, because the camera's behind
Yeah,
there.
I see it. Yeah,
right
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but this is just a vanity one, so I know what I look like.
There you go.
My hair's
It's
done
great
right, you
lighting
know,
and
that type
everything.
of
I
thing.
love
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
No, this is great, bro.
Yeah.
God bless you guys. This is amazing. We got to do a show soon.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, you told me at the end of the month, right?
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
You guys had the live going?
Yeah.
What'd you think? Informative? Was it fun? You guys see the live?
It was a good live.
I think Brent Daniels is just excited for you to be back in the market as you are.
What's up, fellas?
Say Jesus. Oh, Carlos, what's up, bro?
Not much, man. Just tuning in. Where's Abel and Nilo?
Nilo, I don't know, bro. They all got sent an invite. They all got added to the community platform. But I don't blame them. You know, at last minute, you know, we were kind of just made this a couple of days ago, and
I've been announcing it. I've been announcing it on Fridays that we're gonna do the straight just real estate Wednesdays again. By the way, how do you guys feel about that? How do you guys feel about like, hey, this is real estate. This is a real estate call, right? Because I know, you know, the Friday calls were more like business, you know, CEO, building a business, right? Real estate, roofing, whatever, flooring, right? But it's different, man. Like, and I can tell you guys this, and I'm sure you guys already know this, but Sal and I have had our hands into just about everything over the past several years, and nothing comes close to real estate, guys. Let me just save you the time. Let me save you the money. Let me save you the headache, right? If you want to go be a roofer and do $1 million in gross revenue, you know, that's going to take you like 66 roofs, you know? And that's just gross revenue, by the way. You know, that's not what you keep, right? So again, there's nothing better than this, man. So let me see, 15.5. Yep, 64 roofs is what it would take you to gross $1 million, right? If you want to actually keep in your pocket $1 million, you're probably going to be around 133 roofs. It's a lot of roofs, a lot of moving parts. So anyway, just wanted to let you guys are in the right industry.